So that concludes our operations for setting up Unity Part 2. Let's go ahead and move on to setting up Unity Part 3. So here we have the same setup that we do in Unity for our animation event. You'll see here that we have function, float, int, string, and object. And under our order of operations, we'll see that in function, we want to type callEvent. This is the function that we imported earlier into our project that holds our aksoundengine.postEvent call. For our purposes right now, we're just going to type in callEvent as it's typed here on the order of operations, which is a lowercase c and an uppercase e. And this corresponds to our function under callEvent. As you can see here, the function is callEvent, lowercase c, uppercase e. Let's go ahead and go back to our animation, and we have to navigate back to events, and we'll find our event here on the timeline. All right, so we open that up, and we have callEvent in the function as it asks us to do here in the order of operations. Next, the float and int fields should be 0. And these, if we had a function that we were passing numbers to in the float or integer format, we would use these fields. However, we do not, so we are not using them. We do, however, have a function which we are passing a string to. So this string field is going to be filled with the name of the event that we are going to want to call in Wwise. So let's open up Wwise and confirm the name of our event. Now, currently we're in the SoundBank Manager window, and to get out of that, we press F5. And here we have our event editor, and under our events tab, we have our footstep event selected. The name of the event that we want to call for this purpose is footstep. And if you recall, when we set this up, our footstep event is going to call a play action on our footstep_grass game object and sound effect. So this is the name of our event. Oops, I did not mean to cut that. This is the name of our event. This is the string that we want to pass to our function. So I copied it from the name field in Wwise and pasted it here in the animation event editor so that I was sure I had the correct name, spelling and all. And that takes care of the string portion, which says this should match the name of the event you are calling in Wwise. Next, we will have the object field. This is the object from which the sound will originate. Now we want the sound to originate from our player avatar. And that object is named player_01, and that's the name we gave to it earlier. So here in the object field to the right, there's a little circle that when you click brings up a search, a window showing all of the assets in the game. We want to look for our avatar, which is named player_01. And here it comes up next to the none option. So go ahead and double click on player_01, and that will bring it up in the object field. Now that should be everything that we need to do in order to create an animation event. So there's no more operations. We've done everything we need to do, from creating a Unity project to creating a Wwise project, integrating those two, and then following our order of operations to set up Unity and get our animation file set up with an animation event. The next step is to test and see if our animation file is triggering our audio event. So I'm going to enter play mode. I'm going to hit apply. Anytime this warning comes up, it just says unapplied import settings for our animation file. Hit apply. And then I should hear my audio asset play during the unarmed combat run animation file cycle. and I'm not hearing anything. So the first thing we need to do is check and see if we have any errors by going to the console tab. And I'm going to slowly scroll up until I get an error that is not this error, which is found a curve with both quaternion and Euler bindings. We're not concerned with that error right now. What we are concerned with are these wise errors, which says event ID not found. And if I highlight it, it says event ID not found, and it gives me the object that was trying to call that event. So the object player underscore 01 was trying to call some event. And so usually this could be a bank error, or the name of our event could be misspelled. So let's make sure that our bank is added to Wise Global, and it's not. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that our sound banks from Wise are added to Wise Global. And I had thought that I added them, but I suppose not. So under Wise Global, let's add Wise. Let's go to Add Component, scroll to Wise, and then AK Bank. And again, we're not concerned with load on or unload on or asynchronous. We just want to take care of the red text and select our bank, which is player. Hit OK. Now, we don't want to go through and look for other errors because we just created a fix that we think was the problem. So let's test and make sure that that was indeed the problem that was causing us to not hear any audio from our run animation. All right. We now have our footstep being called from the run animation. And essentially, those are the basics of how to call an audio event from an animation file. Now, I want to note that it's only playing for 1 foot and it seems out of balance. So we're going to move on. Now, you could stop here because you have all of the steps and instructions that you need in order to add audio event calls to more animations. However, in the next video, we are going to flesh out these footsteps a little bit more by adding footstep to the second foot in the run cycle. And then we're going to add the capability to switch between terrain types. And then we're going to move on to adding Foley to those footsteps, and then adding audio to the attack animations.